Welcome to this week's episode of Superhost Down Under. This week we have Meredith on the show. Welcome to the show, Meredith.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Meredith.
And before we get into your story, we're going to do our weekly topic. Silvia, what's our weekly topic this week?
Well, it's using different platforms to promote your short-term rental property. So we're all familiar with Airbnb, but there are other platforms which we rarely discuss. So we thought it's time to discuss the others.
Yes. And this is one personal for me because I use a co-host here in Melbourne. And although my occupancy is quite good, it's around 85 to 95%, and we still increase our rates every year. I wanted to see if we can get that last 10, 15% of occupancy that goes by. And so my co-host here in Victoria is licensed to be a property manager. And also he has his own website, or they have their own website. There's two of them, two business partners at Lane Stay. And they're finally ready to launch a direct booking site. So people can go straight to their website to book without fees, without the Airbnb fees, but also to be able to list on other sites. So we'll be on Airbnb primarily, or we already are. And then we're going to add a direct to customer booking for in case we have returning guests, and then also open up to other platforms. And this is new for me, and it makes me a little bit nervous because I felt really comfortable with air cover. And I also have short-term rental insurance, but I get to see the guests, and I've done that for so long. I get to see the requests for booking. I get to verify that the people that I want in my units, I feel when it goes to direct booking, I'm not going to have the same screening steps as before. I'm not going to be able to see the history of their previous stays. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm going to try it and be brave. What are your thoughts on this, Silvia?
Oh, totally do it.
Meredith, you doing it?
Yeah. So we list on all the platforms, VRBO, booking.com. We have our direct booking site through our property management software, plus Airbnb. We are going out to Marriott and are on Expedia because we're on VRBO.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the nerves about how do I vet someone and verify that they're going to be safe in my property, or for us or for our owners, owners' properties, without doing the reviews. And there's a couple of strategies you have in place to be able to mitigate that risk.
Okay.
And things that we've done, and you can get damage waivers or security deposits to add an extra layer of safety. So it's we would get the bulk of our bookings through Airbnb, at least 65 to 70%, but there's certainly that other 30% that we get from other places, and some properties perform better on booking.com versus other properties, and that depends on who our target avatar is, so who our key guest is, and and the property type, and what it kind of looks like and its location.
Yeah, great. I feel like I'm gonna call you when
Call
we go
me.
live.
Yeah, absolutely.
All your lessons learned. Yeah, Silvia, I know that you have your main Airbnb is your principal place of residence, and it's a shared space, and and you're also fully booked most of the time. But what are your views, and what have you heard and learned over your discussions, or things that come to mind when you think about?
Well, I only wish to stay on Airbnb. I don't feel a need to go to other websites. As you say, mine is pretty much booked out. I don't have the figures because I only have one. So I believe they give you the figures when you've got more than one. But yeah, I'm just booked out. I don't see a need. The argument for me is, do I continue to put my prices up? Because even now, I'm booked about 3 months in advance, and with only, you know, the occasional day here or there that's available. So I always wonder, should I put the prices up? And I actually did for this summer, and the bookings continued. So it suggests I could put them up again, but of course I've got the bookings now, so it would be in the future. I've brought this up before. My concern with putting the prices up again and again and again is there is a critical point where you will get fussy guests. So what I'm saying is, at a certain price point, they're very happy. You get 5-star reviews. Everything's better than anything else on the market. They love it. They love it. They love it. And that's what I get. And I don't want that to change. If I continue to put my prices up, and I don't know how far I could go, but I'm just afraid that maybe they'll become more critical, because I have a friend of mine who's a host, and, you know, I have lots of friends who are hosts and we always talk. And she said the problem with putting the price up, and she does it. She just does it. She doesn't care. She puts the price up very high. And she says the guests will pick on every little thing they see, like a hair on the ground or whatever, because they just become very judgy because they've, you know, spent a lot of money and their standards are higher. And I don't want that. Look, mine isn't one that I've got to watch every dollar I make. I'm not running a business such as Meredith, where she does have to look after her clients and make sure that, you know, she can get the maximum return for her clients. That's not me. Mine's a little bit more about relationships, because they are in my place and I enjoy meeting people, and I'm so proud of Sydney, and I love telling them where to go, what to see, what to do. And when they walk out beaming and tell me they've had an incredible stay, which is like 90% of the time, that to me means more than an extra $10, which I will then also get taxed on. So it then, you know, comes down a little bit. But that's my policy with a shared home. And Ray, so you've said that you're going to
I'm
dive
gonna
into
trial it.
this.
Like I'm not gonna let my fears hold me back from trying it. I think I'll learn a few things, and I'm putting in the guardrails that I can to protect myself. You know, we will open it up, but we're also insured, and it's part of life. You're gonna take some of these risks, and trying to be measured in it. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we're all going to want to hear how it goes for you.
Yeah,
In the
I think I'll give
future.
an update episode. Yes, yes, for sure. And I'm very excited to get into your story, Meredith. I hear that you run a rental management company with over 40 properties across the Australian Eastern Seaboard. Is this correct? Called Custom BNB Hosting.
That's it. Yeah, we've got about 35 properties at the moment, and we're in four markets. We've been a bit more than that, but we've strategically consolidated down to Melbourne and Brisbane, Sunshine Coast and Hervey Bay.
So tell
Nothing
us a
in
little
New
bit.
South Wales.
Not anymore, no.
Tell us a little bit about who you are and what got you into this business.
Yes, of course. So we started the business in 2018. Prior to that, I was a busy social worker, working in frontline child protection, and so doing something very different. But I did do property investment and renovations and that kind of stuff, and I enjoyed that. And then in 2016, I went on maternity leave. And then in 2017, I got diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer.
Oh my
and
gosh.
so I am fabulous. I'm healthy and I'm well, and I still have it, but it's just like a chronic disease for me, which I'm really fortunate to have. But it made me certainly reevaluate what we do next. And yeah, so that evaluation process and kind of that opportunity to go, well, what would I really like to do? Well, created the space to think about starting a business and trying something different. So what have I got to lose? The worst things happened. What have I got to lose? And my dad sent me a ad for a Airbnb course to do, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. There's a course. Well, there was, and I was like, oh yeah, I could do that, and I could, we like looking at properties. My partner Ali and I, we like looking at properties. I like renovating them. And so kind of what that led to was starting the leasing, the leasing model where it's arbitrage in the US, it's called rent to rent in the UK, and here it's the leasing model. It's getting a lot of popularity at the moment and getting lots of media coverage. So yeah, you rent the property and then put it on to Airbnb with the owner's permission. It's a great little model. Not in COVID. Not great in COVID.
Yes, not in COVID.
But that started us into it and started us getting the experience of listing and case communications and, what you're looking for and what makes a good Airbnb. So that's how we started.
Oh, I'm curious about this course. Like, what do they teach you in the course, and how much is this course?
Yeah, it was called B&B Professional. They have sold their business. I don't know what they've sold their course. I don't think that's active anymore. But it was great. It was giving you, not just how to list your property. There's a module on that, but also how to find properties. It was very much focused on the leasing model, but how to find properties that are looking, how you set them up, like how many pillows you need. And they had created all those checklists and that kind of stuff that you need to get it off the ground, helped you find the data, gave you templates for, guest communications and stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
And created a community, which was really nice.
Yeah, excellent.
Meredith, when you started that leasing model, how many would you have started with?
7.
7.
We got up to 7 before COVID happened. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And were all of them profitable? So you were paying X amount in rent a week, and then you had to make money above and beyond that to cover the rent and other costs. I mean, you would have been paying outgoings as well.
That's exactly right. So the model was that you leased the property, turned on all the utilities, you furnished it, and then you had to pay the Airbnb fees. But you got to keep the rest of the profit, which is lovely. So you definitely we had a calculator you used. You definitely needed to make sure that the Airbnb earnings would cover all those expenses and leave you. And we had a formula that we kind of followed. We wanted to make sure each property was earning fairly quickly after setup, because you can pay anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 to furnish a property, depending on its size. And of course, if you could get properties that were already furnished, that cut your costs down. But we wanted to make at the time at least $1,000 a month after all those expenses, and to scale. And look, Perfect. To be honest, if I did it again now, I'd want to be making more than that. And you can. I know you can. I've got a friend doing it in Melbourne. She's doing a superb job.
So the model still is sustainable now post-COVID?
Yep. And my friend, she's got 18 properties that she does like that in Melbourne. She's, she's got these beautiful penthouses, furnished, and is going amazingly well.
And it's common for landlords to accept the tenants doing it, or they're doing it without permission?
No, they're definitely doing it with permission, but it's not easy.
It's not easy.
You got to persuade them. You got to be trustworthy. You've got to educate them. And that's certainly what we did when we started. I went to 100 open for inspections, submitted 20 applications before we got our first one.
Okay.
And that was building a relationship with an agent who understood, or who was willing to give it a go and was trustworthy. And she had a big development and she was trying to offload a bunch of properties all at the same time. So it was really good timing. And my friend in Melbourne, she got her big penthouse that's earning her a lot of money because it was on the market for ages because it's fully furnished. People don't want to rent fully furnished properties. So
not a penthouse.
There is opportunity. Exactly. You come with all your own furniture, right? So you want somewhere to put it. So it does take time and persistence and consistency and relationship building to find those properties. Yeah.
But it's worth it.
it can be worth it.
Yeah,
Can be worth it. Yeah.
And you started your business with your business partner, Ali. And how did this come together, that the both of you wanting to like both do it? Because you talked about your motivations for doing it. Like, after your diagnosis, why did you feel like you needed a business partner, or that you wanted one?
Yeah. So Ali is actually my life partner as well as my business partner, and she did get involved with it for a bit. But the 24/7 and all that kind of stuff, and the challenges from guests, she's like, I don't want to borrow this anymore. So in fact, she's my silent partner now.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes. And you're based in Queensland?
Yeah. We started in Melbourne and then we moved to Queensland, and that's where we live now. But we are in.
I moved to Queensland during COVID to escape the lockdowns, and I lived on the Gold
escaped the
Coast.
lockdowns. Yep.
And that's how my Airbnb journey like ramped up, because we were trying to pay the interest rate increases, and just had that extra space because properties are larger on the Gold Coast than here in Melbourne for the same price.
Yes.
And so I had that space. So setting up operations, I'm curious, like how do you run it being based in Queensland with properties spread everywhere? Like, how have you structured your team?
Yeah, so we use, it's called a co-hosting model, but
I have a co-host. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a co-host, or we call them a local hosting professional, and they're in each of our locations. I do it on the Sunshine Coast here, but they're in each of our locations, and they manage a portfolio of properties, and they've got specific roles and tasks, and they get paid a percentage of the commissions that we earn.
Okay, excellent. And so starting your business with its challenges, what were your biggest challenges when getting started?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenges were that it's not set and forget business. It's a 24/7 business. That the cleaners don't care about your property the same way you do.
Yes.
And you can give all the checklists in the world, but in the moment of the clean, no one looks at them. Building good partnerships and making it for cleaners, making it easy for cleaners to be successful really helps. And because, the reviews really make or break our businesses.
For sure. I think with my co-host, the cleaners work in-house with the co-host. So then you're not paying contractor to contractor, and then there's some consistency. There are checklists, but I think the checklists involve taking photos. So then, because then we sometimes may have guests who say, the kitchen's dirty, but the kitchen's dirty because they used it.
Yeah.
And so it's important to have those photos, or same with damages. At the end of a stay, to have those photos. That's what I've been using. But even with that, I notice I still want to go visit the properties myself, because checklists don't surpass just having a holistic, more broader view of like, how does this place feel? And then what's off?
Absolutely. It's the stuff for me, like just wipe behind the bedside table and vacuuming behind the bedside table. Like, absolutely, a full changeover can happen, no problems. But it's the noticing that, the fan needs wiping and that wasn't wiped because someone's lying in bed and they're looking at that fan 100%, and they're going to, mark you down for cleanliness or,
And in your name, you're called Custom BNB Hosting. And so what's custom in your business?
Yeah. We really did start out to be customized, but we've moved to being more standardized now.
Yes, I think that's what I noticed with my co-host too. They used to greet all the guests in person in a suit.
Yeah. Oh,
it's really difficult when you get to like 18 or the number that they're at, to meet all your guests at the front in a pressed suit.
It is beautiful, and I'm sure it's a really nice touch, but
not scalable.
Not scalable. No.
And late check-ins and delays, you really can't meet that. Or if you do, it'll cost a lot. I'm not sure people value it the same way.
Correct.
Yeah. So walk us through the typical life cycle of a new client. Like how does someone become How does it work?
I like to keep it simple, really simple. There's sort of three things that we talk about, and it is to get an appraisal. Let us, check that the performance of the property meets the owner's goals and what they're wanting to achieve. Yeah. Get the paperwork sorted out, and then let's get the property listed and let's get some bookings and make some money. Of course, within, that third stage, there is a lot that goes into it, like insurance, making sure they've got the right insurance and getting the photography done, writing copy, making sure we've got keys organised, and making sure that the property is styled as effectively as it can be, onboarding it into our property management software, into our dynamic pricing tools, and of course communicating with the owners along the way so that they are, confident in what we're doing and knowing what we're doing and excited about what's coming.
So your clients who you onboard and you're managing the property, you will be their feet on the ground. You're the property manager, and you might have local, like a team supporting them. They have to be owners of the property, or some of these people leasing it? Who are your typical clients? What
typical client is a homeowner. It's like either a seasoned property investor or a holiday homeowner, and they want a set and forget solution. They want a full end-to-end solution. So we'll go in and create the listing and help with their styling and get the professional photos organized and write the copy and
And for pricing your services, like how do you price it to your clients? You said it's more standardized now. Do you want to talk through a little bit like how you price?
Absolutely. So we charge 20%, 22% commission, including GST, and that is on the accommodation fare only, not on the cleaning fee like Airbnb do, after Airbnb have taken their fees.
Okay. And so someone like myself who wants to add another property, but also wants to make sure it optimizes for like fees, you said you support multi-platform then my property could be listed on the different sites. And do you have a direct booking link too?
Yeah, absolutely.
On your site?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. So when you list on all the different platforms, when you use a property management tool, you can, when the price is pushed out to that platform, you can add a percentage so that those fees are covered correctly for each platform.
Excellent. And so with so many clients, like probably had some really easy clients and some more challenging ones. What's your approach to navigating those difficult ones, and what does difficult look like in your space?
I think difficult is owners coming, and I as an owner myself, and when I ran the leasing models, like I'm like, why do people not clean this property the way I clean it? Like, and set it up and style it the way that I styled it. Like, isn't it obvious? And isn't the photos are there on Airbnb? Why don't you copy them? So I think setting expectations and understanding that our cleaners and our team, they go in, they get it changed over, and our guests go in and have a great time, and they actually aren't that disturbed if that throw and cushion aren't exactly matching on that bed. So we've had to do a bit of just setting expectations and understanding about that. Yes, it irritates you, and yes, you would wish it was perfect, but so a little bit of that education, and usually that's the new owners. They're like, they've gone, put so much effort into styling, and then it's not able to be as perfect every time. But guests still are having a great time. They're still leaving 5-star reviews, and it's just helping them understand that.
I know about the throw. I've walked into my own unit. I'm like, why is this throw here?
It's wrong.
And it
I know.
And the guests don't know where the throw and the checklist is supposed to be.
And every cleaner does their throws in a different way. And you're like, I don't like that one. I like that one. Oh, that one's a clever one. Haven't seen that before,
Exactly.
So, you just got to value them for what they do. And some design the towels into these beautiful, elegant things, and others are like barely thrown. Swan, right? Yeah.
I've seen a swan towel when I was on the Gold Coast at my friend's venue. And and apparently the guests love it, but also
Some do.
the guests are there for their wedding night, and so it's not like they're seeing this swan every couple of days. It's just for the one night that they're staying in, like the bridal
Yes.
residence.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do like great guest stories. So do you have some memorable ones? A memorable one you'd like to share?
Do you want the bad ones?
Like
Yes.
one
Can I tell you?
yeah.
I can tell you an hilarious one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. And it's devastating and funny at the same time. So we had this one bedroom unit on the Sunshine Coast here, and the guest reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm surprising my partner. Can you help with balloons and flowers and that sort of stuff?" I'm like, "Yep, no worries. I'm going to help you with that." Went and got, we sorted it all out. I went and got the balloons, went and got the flowers all organised. Delivered them to the property, had it all set up, sitting on the table. I'm like, this is great. Took a photo, sent it to him. It's all ready for you. He comes in. The balloons had got caught in the fan and the whole thing's spinning around. The flowers and the glass are on the floor and the balloons are flying around in the it was devastating. I'm like, I'm so sorry that the balloons have got caught in the fan.
Oh no.
So he stripped it up and they recovered, but yeah, it was a pretty this thing that we'd done that was so nice just went pear-shaped.
Did they have a sense of humour about it?
He was amazingly gracious about it. I think he was a bit disappointed, but pretty gracious. Thank God I had the photo to say this is what it did look like to start with. I'm sorry.
This was the intention, what the inspiration was.
Yet again, photos are very important in our business.
Oh, so true, aren't they? Hey, yeah.
Yeah. And for people who want to get into this space, new property owners or investors, what advice do you have for them?
So I think it is a wonderful opportunity to maximize some income from your property. And for one of our owners, can I give you an example from one of our owners? They are amazing, and they split off the back of their unit and they were renting it themselves, and then they a terrible time with the co-hosts and cleaners and that sort of stuff before we came on board. We came on board and were able to help them out, but then and got their back unit, operating so they could go away, because all they wanted to do was go and travel, right? And so they've earned money, and they now put their own front unit on when they're away, and now they're away all the time because it runs smooth and they're making great money. So they're traveling around Australia, they're traveling overseas, and I think that's that beautiful story. Like, they're my favourite owners, and they're just delightful and are getting out of life what their asset is really working for them. So there's that.
And it helps support financially their travels.
They couldn't do it without it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's in the future of Custom BNB Hosting? What do you have in store for the next 12 months? Maybe a rebrand.
I know. Do you know, I've been brainstorming. Can you brainstorm with me some new names? It definitely needs. I need a new name. Nothing to do with B&B as well, because I don't think Airbnb likes it. They send us emails about that all the time.
Really?
Do they? What do they say?
There's, that you're
Infringing on their brand.
Correct. It's even though B&Bs have been around.
Is a term that's been around for ages.
Correct.
Yeah.
Bed and breakfast.
And we're taking the crux of it is that we're taking business from them.
Yeah. I'm
like, we're on your platform and we predominantly, host on your platform. So yeah, I mean, that's down the track. I'd really love to grow. I'd love to really grow in particularly Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast, in anticipation of the Olympics. Yeah. We've just onboarded, we just started partnering with a local host here who does hampers and that sort of stuff. And I'm just really excited about getting that in place here. And we're looking at expanding that down to Brisbane. And I know that'd be amazing to do at a scaled level, not just like I have my own personal Airbnb in Darwin actually. And, it's much easier to do when it's just yourself and, to have that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that and setting ourselves apart.
I would love to, if I had more resources, to create a Airbnb, like almost like a building. So it wouldn't be a hotel, but it would be one where then like individual investors could own the units of the
Yep.
building, whether it's
Yep.
like a quadplex or like maybe start small as a triplex. And
Yep.
so then would manage it, or my team
Yep.
would manage it, but then it would help people get into running their own property, their own rental property, without having to set up their own team. And then I would have the team for the whole building. So it would be like basically a shared motel in a way.
Yes.
But then it allows people to be like, oh, like we're a group here. Like we can book guests. If like I'm booked out, you can book the one next door. But also they get to be investors in the unit, so they get to own their unit, and they also get a team to help manage it, which would be nice. Like I have these dreams in the back of my head. I love that.
And they can absolutely all happen. There's a lot of people I talk to in developers.
Maybe we should make this happen, Meredith. Let's get a group of investors and let's buy a building.
I know some. We could truthfully do this. And they're putting pods to add value, and there's all sorts of things going on. So yeah, we definitely should talk.
How good would that be? Like then it's all managed in one building, and then you can pitch to go find the investors to just buy the units. And because my place in South Yarra, I bought it a long time ago, and then I renovated it to like tick another box of putting my mark in Melbourne of my Scandinavian travels. So it like reminds me of all my trips. And then I want to be successful at running it. But now that I've have it successful, I'm happy to sell the business. In case anyone's listening, message me. Sell my unit, because it's turnkey now. Like I have my team set up. I have like 94.92 plus score overall.
Amazing.
On my thing. And I'm a super host, and I'm happy to transition out of it and then focus on something else. But it's those things like I often think like maybe I should push myself a little bit more and like get it to the next level. So we should definitely talk.
Well, do you know what? It's like your business card. It's a good example of what you can do. So you maybe don't want to go away from that right now. And there's an amazing designer who's done it in Melbourne as well, and she fits out. And she's done too. She's done the arbitrage model, and she's like, they don't make a heap of money. I'm like, I know, but they really showcase your design skills really beautifully. Like, they're great.
She should talk to me. Mine make money. And I gutted my place. And sometime doing it.
She's doing the arbitrage model there, so it's slightly different. Slightly different for her.
What do you see as the biggest emerging trend? We talked about this strategy of people leasing and then putting on Airbnb. Do you see that as the biggest trend, or what trend do you see in the Airbnb space?
I see. Rental space? Yeah. Well, how can we not talk about AI? We've got to mention it here about how that will impact. I think experiences will definitely, going to be creating experiences within the properties are going to be, are super critical, I think, going forward. From an Airbnb perspective, certainly at the Astra conference, I went to the conference last week.
My friend was there, Fraser, presenting for Hervey, the AI chatbot that like has all the house rules in the chat.
Yeah, exactly, right? So definitely having that automation, but also, I think Airbnb was speaking there, and, they're definitely talking about how their algorithms are, so it's not a trend, I guess, it's more about, how they're really pushing those owners, and hosts who look after their guests, and they're really getting those 5-star reviews. And like it's just, and their algorithms, obviously, we can see it, can't we? Our properties dip when, we get a 4-star review, and they pick up again when our 5 stars back up a bit and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So, regulations is going to be a big one in the different locations, planning permits and that requirement. We're going to all have to keep our eye on that stuff. So I think it's competitive. It's a really competitive market, and it's going to stay competitive. Hence, you've got to really, perform and style beautifully and provide a unique and wonderful experience.
Yeah, I think about that often, like how many people are deterred from investing in my area, South Yarra. Like there's 1,000 listings, but then I'm almost booked out.
Yep.
So like I think looking just clearly at like the competition, are they really your competition? How are you going to differentiate? And like, I don't know how many people would believe me if I said I'm going to price 20% above market and in an area with 1,000 listings within like a 10-minute walk.
Yep.
But it's possible. But it means it's like you said about building a solid base of positive reviews and having the credentials of being a super host, having a unique design, having good amenities in the building, but also like featuring it properly and describing it well. That really helps.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Over the 11 years that I've been hosting, I've noticed a huge difference too, where guests were very grateful at the start because Airbnb wasn't known, and they were just grateful to have an alternative that wasn't as expensive as a hotel, to becoming fussier and fussier. And as Airbnb grew and the business or the industry grew, then guest expectations also grew. And so watching those changes has been very interesting.
I've had a
definitely.
guest. Go on, Meredith.
Oh, yeah, the guest expectation is, I mean, I've only been doing it for 6 years or whatever, how long I've been doing it. Like that change in guest expectation and that mark around value, oh my goodness, like it's just brutal when they don't feel that they've got value for money. And it's not value in that cheap, but it's not, it's just that value for money. But it's about amenities and the experience that you give them. That's why the experience part's so critical, is that they feel like they've had this amazing experience, some of which is out of your control because it's how the front of the property is when they walk in, but yeah.
And that's exactly what I mean, that they now look at the value for money so much more. And that's why I think I would rather have them think about mine, that they've had the amazing experience, rather than me earning an extra $10. Do you know what I'm finding too with the share situation is that is the experience for them. It is staying with a local. And so mine is kind of a stay and an experience all rolled into one, which of course the individual or the entire homes aren't, because they're there on their own. But I'm very curious, Meredith, with your business, how much do you do and how much do you let your co-hosts do, or does it depend on the co-host? So what I'm asking is, do you do all the messaging, or do you simply manage, or do you do both? How does all that work with your co-hosts?
So we've got really clear roles and responsibilities.
And each co-host is the same?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So we have a signed agreement, and they do all of the guest communications. They do the liaising with the owners and the management of any maintenance issues, spot checks, the cleaners. Some of them are the cleaners, so it depends. So definitely making sure amenities are topped up, making sure that the standard is good. So that's the bulk of their stuff. I do the back end. So I do the pricing, dynamic pricing and pricing listing optimization. If my local host will help me onboard a property, so they'll get all the information so we can create the house manuals. They'll put them in the property, but we've got a VA and we'll do the creations in the Canva and or the digital ones, whatever we're doing at the time. I've been around a few digital ones, so I'm almost going back to just paper. That's we run trust accounts and things, so we do all of the pricing and making sure that people have paid and we're dispersing to owners and everything's all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. And if we get any new business, I do the appraisals, and but the local host will go and have a look at the property and meet the owner for the first time and represent our business.
That's very clear. Yeah. I can see how it all works now.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much for your time today, Meredith. It was great chatting with you.
My absolute pleasure.